Hi, I'm Cassandra. I'm from Louisiana. I live in the motherland and Disby, Ghana. I always like to begin my video presentations with gratitude. Thank each of you for joining me here on Disby, Ghana. As you know from my Big 40 celebration video, that I have 40, actually 40 plus subscribers here after almost a month, and so many likes and views. Thank you so very much. I am hoping that you are enjoying my recollections about our experiences here in Ghana. Finding these old pictures and collecting old notes and writings, remembering the times here in the motherland since our arrival has taken me on such an emotional roller coaster of smiles and tears, laughter and much love and appreciation for the great opportunity we were given to actually live in Africa. And woo, what a ride! Like I've said before, Ghana is Sankofa. Looking back that we can see forward more clearly and stand in the present more confidently. Looking back has allowed us to accept that we are fearfully and wonderfully created, and who we are is not the exception to the rule, but who we are is the rule itself. We have discovered so much about ourselves, and our experiences have honed and sharpened our perceptions about how we view others too. And I'm going to share some of those with you now on Dispigana. So, where I left off in the previous presentation was Baby Peaches and me sitting on the back porch watching migrating bats. And it was on one of those back porch gatherings that we began to ponder just what we were going to do here. So we figured that taking a look around the neighborhood just might give us a notion. One afternoon, we struck out up Gould Street, which was this dirt path disguised as a road in much need of repair. Along the way, we saw kiosks and stores selling some of everything, from fruit to furniture. There were hotels and motels and mansions and mud huts and schools. A few minutes into our walk, there was this cute little boy in a school uniform who walked up behind me and touched me on the elbow. As I turned to eye him, he said something. It sounded like English, but the African accent was so intermingled that I mistook his words for asking for money. So I tapped on my pockets, on my little breeches, to indicate that I did not have any. But he continued his eye lock on me and he repeated the same words. I looked anxiously around for Baby and Peaches, who had kept walking up ahead. They always do me like that. They just leave me. Because sometimes I guess I meander too long. Anyway, Baby looked back over his shoulder and said to tell him, yes, we'd come to his school tomorrow. And to myself, I said, like, really? Is that what he said? Well, he understood Baby, and satisfied, he trotted off. But a few minutes later, he came back to face me and ask, will you really visit my school? Understanding him this time, I assured him that we would, and finally he scurried off. So we spent the rest of the day looking around at the vegetable and fruit stands, the shoe stores, the hairdressers that lined every inch of the dirt road in Dome Pillar 2 where we lived. We bought plantain chips and roasted yams and ate little fried fish with hot, hot pepper sauce. We drank Africa colas and star beer. We bought sandals and earrings and anything else that caught our new fancy. Later returning home all hot and dusty and tired, but so invigorated and so inspired. As sure as we promised, we got up the next day and after breakfast, we headed to the little boys' school, which was actually only just a few yards up the road from our house. I would have not recognized this as a school except for the sign outside. It was a neighborhood school in dire need of a good overhaul. As we entered the rickety gate, here comes running toward us the little boy we'd met the day before. He grabbed baby by the hand and took us forward through this hard dirt lot toward a sagging tarp held up by uneven bamboo poles and crudely cut 2x4s. In between were propped up plyboards to separate the area into three makeshift classrooms. Three of the sides were open, and the top was sheets of tin that had been laid across the beams to protect the children from the rain, albeit insufficiently, as I could tell from the gaps and nail holes in the tin. But through those holes in the roof, the sunlight speckled the curious upturned faces like glittering stars. I fought back welling tears as I turned to greet a beautiful young woman who could not have been any older than 25. The little boy introduced us to Nana, the head mistress and owner of the Stand Up for Kids Foundation School. There were also three volunteer school teachers and over 100 students between the ages of 6 months and 8 years, sitting on crude benches at makeshift desks, learning from homemade chalkboards. As we approached the children, they jumped to their feet and greeted us in melodious unison. Good morning, sir and madams. How are you? Okay. I'm still working on my Ghana accent, okay? But be patient. And you know what I said to myself. Well, where they do that at? And like I told myself before, they do that in Ghana. And at that moment, our hearts melted, and we telepathically, unanimously decided that this was job one. We rushed back home and told our cook. Yeah, we had a cook and an on-site groundskeeper and a houseman that came with the house. That took some getting used to. Other folk in my kitchen and moving my stuff around and things, but at the time, they were very, very valuable. Now, back to the story. So our cook loaded us up in a taxi cab to the school supply store where we emptied our pockets on books and paper, pencils, rulers, erasers, chalk, teaching materials, charts, maps, and every other school supply that we could find. As our friendship grew with the little school, my sister Peaches, being a retired school teacher and all, helped to create school and student records and study curriculums. Peaches even volunteered teaching classes, for a while that is, until Nana gave her a newly polished bamboo cane and told her to give out licks to students who missed questions on the day's pop quiz. I think she passed out one or two weak swats with that cane. And this icon of education, who taught high school in Orleans Parish, Louisiana for over 40 years, breaking up fights, disarming knife-toting students, and dodging bullets, came home and cried. Poor thing. I felt sorry for her. Nevertheless, amid this seemingly unfavorable learning environment, the children were smart, polite, obedient, respectful, and disciplined. In return for these time-proven ancient traditions of discipline and ethics, you have a hard-working society of young people who are entrepreneurs, leaders, builders, movers, and shakers here in Ghana. This country is fueled by youth and vitality. They are innovative and creative and hunger for education, progress, and success. They are CEOs and business owners. They are gas station attendants, waiters, cooks, and chefs. They are carpenters, brick masons, cement finishers, contractors, electricians, and engineers. They are lawyers and politicians, dentists and chemists, nurses and doctors. They are designers and debutantes. They are bankers and business people who buy, sell, and trade commodities and monies. They drive trotros and taxis and fly airplanes and float ships and keep this country in constant motion. They vend their wares daily on roadsides and thoroughfare intersections, in shops, on corners, and under trees. They teach, they preach, they work, and they play very hard. They are the blood flow of Africa. They are Accra. And they believe if you don't work, you don't eat. They care for their parents and honor the elderly and bind themselves in brother and sisterhood. Anyway, we adopted the school because we knew that these were the leaders of tomorrow, and with better tools for education, their leadership would be knowledgeable and strong and favorable for their people because they had no place to store their hoard of brand new school supplies. We allowed them to come each morning and check them out. In the afternoon, they would return the materials to us, and of course, each child had his own writing tablet, pencils, and study books that we renewed periodically to make certain that they had everything that they needed. As time passed, we found two more little schools in the neighborhood. With the help of family and friends back home, we were able to continue our newly founded, ever evolving mission. And the experience was one that guided our journey and was the mold for our future ventures here. Even after we moved from Gold and Diamond Streets, for a few years following, we would return each year during the holidays to pass out school supply gifts to our neighborhood children there. As a result of all of this, Baby Peaches and I founded Education Impact Family Group, our little nonprofit organization, and through it we continue to provide tools for a better education to the children in that area during our stay. And the little boy, at that time, he was around 9 years of age, I think, and actually too old for the Stand Up for Kids Foundation School. So my sister Peaches moved him to another school that could provide him a more advanced education and has been supporting him ever since. And 7 years later, he is now in senior high boarding school making superior grades, I hear. And we are so very proud. Oh, what sweet memories. Oh, don't let me get to crying here. Just think, one little boy who had the guts and heart to ask for help, not for himself, but unselfishly for his school and schoolmates, was the birth of many wonderful ventures for our family. And I'll be telling you all about it here on more upcoming episodes of DBS Ghana. Until next time, I'm Cassandra. I'm from Louisiana. I live in the motherland and DBS Ghana. Thank you for joining me.